On the point after, brought to you by Miller Lite. It is Miller time. Bobby, 2-0 feels great, but a lot to clean up for this squad after a 20-7 victory at Carolina.
2017?
20-17. What did I say?
I said 27.
20-17 victory. There you go.
Yeah. 20-17. Steve.
And you called it.
I called it right before in the pregame. I said I'm looking for, I don't know if you say ugly win, and there's no wins ugly in the NFL as long as you win. Now, if you lose, I said 3-2 is a great win. But I said, I think about 20-17. I think Vegas got it right. They're about a 3-point favorite. Now, Dennis Allen's a little ticked off because that is outstanding. He did not want to give up a touchdown. So almost 8 quarters without giving up a touchdown. In this day and age, come on. That is outstanding. I don't care if we were playing the Cardinals or whoever you think's the bottom 2 teams in the NFL. If you're not giving up a touchdown, look at the Titans. How were they against the Chargers with their offense? We didn't give up a touchdown. You look at Carolina, against Atlanta. No, so that's promising. I look at the glass half full instead of half empty.
Especially in hostile territory. It was on the road, so that's even more impressive.
Hey, we're not going to blow out nobody. I'm telling you, this is the kind of games that will give you an ulcer if the whole season they're going to be like, you mad and all that. Somehow the Saints won. If the Saints wouldn't have won, I guarantee we'd have so much callers tonight that they'd be so mad, fire everybody. Derek Carr got to go. Everybody has to go, the whole thing. But, the Saints won, even though it was an ugly win. Then they got to go to work in the morning. Go, man, I'm going to bed. I'm not staying up and listen to this, what Bobby has to say. But what's very dominating? Not only scoring defense, but if we continue to do this again, now I wish we'd have stayed +1. We end up being 0 for the turnover ratio margin, 0 for the game, but we're still +1 for the season. So we on the plus side. But you know what they did? How much we respect the Dome Patrol and what they accomplished. You know what the Saints defense did? Dating back to last season, the Saints have held now 10 consecutive opponents to 20 points or less. And that's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's what occurred. I remember the last time the Saints allowed more than 20 points. That was an embarrassing performance back in November the 7th when they lost to the Ravens. And they gave up 27 points. But nobody scored more than 20 since then. And you look at, 15 by the Titans. You look at 17 by the Panthers. I would say right now, if we're on the road and we give up 20 points to the Packers, hell yeah, we should win. We should not lose the game. I think it's going to be that important. And again, when you look at it, it's going to be about, and we should have been maybe 100%. The key is going to be going forward. What are you doing red zone defense and not giving up chunk plays? When you look at like chunk plays, the longest pass play that was at the end, we gave up to Mingo +22. I don't know why he ran out of bounds. I mean, does he not know the game? Why don't you try and score? And he was trying to stop the clock. How about you score a touchdown if you're a Panther fan? And while I'm on that, how about Chris Olave? The unbelievable play he made, that 42-yard gain. And what, you going to spin the ball and celebrate? Listen, the Panthers almost picked it up, but you celebrating? Don't spike it. It's like the mindset. He still thinks he's at Ohio State, and if you fall on the ground, that you're down, and not realizing that you got to be touched. So I was like, but that was a brain fart by Chris Olave then. But Chris Olave is explosive. He's outstanding. Derek Carr trusts him. He was targeted 11 times, ended up having 6 receptions for 86 yards. But looking at congratulations to the defense. Again, you look at scoring defense overall. Like I said, it should have been 8 straight quarters without giving up a touchdown. This day and age, that's unbelievable. I'm telling you, that is mind-boggling. And then you throw in there a third down defense. We only gave up 4 of 14, 29%. So now in 2 games, you got to move the change. Like first down, other team, whatever. No. Outstanding the past 2 games. Teams have only converted 6 for 26. What? And you went into, you take the ball away. I'll tell you, it's outstanding. Red zone, they were 1 of 3. I guarantee you red zone defense will be amongst the leaders after 2 games. We have to be. Simply because teams have not converted. They shouldn't have given that touchdown, like I said. But, we controlled the game, 341 yards to 239. I don't know. They Bryce Young. I mean, I think he's going to have a good career and all that. But did he look like he was invincible? No. At Alabama at the time, he looked like a man amongst boys. But you know what? They ain't no boys in the NFL. It's all men. Then Bryce Young looked very normal. I know he won the Heisman and all that. He looked very normal. Now, he might be the answer in the future for Carolina, but he ain't the answer right now. And you don't want to surprise us. I said this in the pregame. Who's been the answer so far in the NFC South is damn Baker Mayfield. And I got to eat crow on that because I thought Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay's not going to do anything. And Steve, you look at the quarterback for the Falcons right now.
Desmond
Ritter. I mean, when he finally threw for over 200 yards or something, you think he's the answer? No, it's wide open in the NFC South right now. You know what's also outstanding, because we bitched about this in the preseason? Penalties. We didn't have close to 9 or 100 yards. We had 3 penalties for 32 yards. That is outstanding. Now, keep doing that. You're not shooting yourself in the foot. Overall, if you look at the series, I always like to bring this up. The all-time series, now I always count the NFC wildcard playoff victory we had in 2017. So now we have 30 wins and 28 losses.
2 up.
Just the regular season, it was 28-28, but now we're up 29-28 if we just count the regular season. And you look at the road in Charlotte. It was 14-14. Now we've won 15 games and lost 14. And you know what? That's why I expected this type of game, because I go by trends in what occurred. Of the 57 regular season games, half have been, a little more than half now, have been decided within 1 score or less. So it's like, the Saints are going to blow them out. It might happen, but a little more than half is kind of like 1 score. Touchdown, field goal, like what occurred today. So that was not a surprise. But if you look at it, okay, who was outstanding? Who was outstanding again? Mr. Football. Who did it? Johnny Manziel. Who they called Johnny Manziel, Mr. Football? What was his name? Johnny Football or something?
Johnny Football, right?
Well, Taysom Hill is Mr. Football. When you talk about and how you utilize in the NFL, look, okay, whether he's rushing the football, whether he's even passing the football, or where he's receiving the football. Look, they trust him with the ball in his hands. He had 82 total yards. Now, no 75 yards of that, rushing. He's just a battering ram, basically averaged 8.5 yards a carry, which helped the Saints, who've been sucking being able to run the ball. Because even as hard as Tony Jones Jr. ran, he still only averaged like 2.8, running at 3 yards. But because of Taysom Hill, we averaged 4.1 yards a carry. Now, Derek Carr, we need Derek Carr to play better. We need him to be more a significant edge over the opposing quarterback. Well, that was not necessarily the case. Not that nothing right home about Bryce Young and what he did. And then you face it, Jordan Love. Jordan Love's like a rookie who we play in next week against the Packers. Hell yeah, we should beat them. But Derek Carr, when he's had quarterback ratings over 100 against the Raiders. Like I want to say sample size, I got it in my notes somewhere, like 3 games. Not so fast today. It was like a quarterback rating of 65.5. Chris Olave, you can see Derek Carr trusting him. 11 targets, 6 catches, 86 yards. Rashid Shaheed, another one. Rashid Shaheed, if you look at all-purpose yards, 79. Scrimmage yards, Taysom Hill, 82. So you think Taysom Hill, Rashid Shaheed, we need to keep them healthy. Overall, Shaheed, we don't like about Shaheed, targeted 4 times, 4 catches, 63 yards. Michael Thomas, he was featured early on from the beginning, 9 targets, 7 receptions, 19 long. We had a stretch where we did hit those chunk plays, like we saw in the Titans game, where it all happened like in the same drive, like a 42-yard to Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, 45 yards, Michael Thomas, 19 yards. I thought all of us, compared to what Atlanta did, I think we did an outstanding job against Miles Sanders and Herbert. They're two-headed monster in the run game. Where you look at Herbert at 16 yards, Sanders at 43. It was more Bryce Young running, and that's going to be Jordan Love. And that's one thing you have to realize, that the quarterback, his yardage counts in the running game. And he had a 17-yard average at 26 long game when that came about. Now I want to break down the defense. What we did here, Steve, you gave the game ball to Demario Davis.
Yeah, last week I kind of got some flack because I didn't give the ball to anybody on defense.
Well,
this week I was not missing out.
No, you had to. I mean, the offense wasn't efficient.
I was tempted to go Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, but no, he'd have to break the century mark.
Right.
Instead of 82 total yards, if he'd had over 100, then I'd have said, But then, we need our offense to be more productive, bottom line. But Double D, Demario Davis, led the team in total tackles with 7. He had 4 unassisted, a sack, quarterback hurry, tackle for loss, like you mentioned earlier. Malante Taylor, I think he's going to get better and better at the slot. That nickel corner, 5 unassisted tackles. Led the team in tackles for loss with 2. He also had a pass defended. But again, these guys in the middle of the trenches. I'm not going to give Cam Jordan more credit because I expect more from Cam. He had 4 tackles. He had a quarterback hurry. But who I am going to give credit to is, again, Carl Granderson and Nathan Shepard, who we got in the trenches. Now, they had a couple of tackles, and they do a lot of the dirty work. But you look at sack. Carl Granderson had a sack. You look at a big play causing a turnover, 2 quarterback hurries, and a tackle for loss. It was actually a mirror image of one another, Nathan Shepard and Carl Granderson. They both had a sack. They both had 2 quarterback hurries or hits, however you describe it, and they both had a tackle for a loss. And like I said, Granderson with that forced fumble that Adebo ended up recovering. So overall, a big win for the Saints. And I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I thought it would turn out like this. I can tell you right now.
I was going to say, you picked the exact score.
Yeah, I wish I picked the wrong score as long as the Saints win. I would much rather, man, the game's over. Going into the fourth quarter, the Saints are so far ahead. Remember when I told you back, this might have been maybe that 2011 season when the offense was unbelievable, that I had fans coming up to me and telling me, God, it's like I wish the games were closer because the games was over.
Blowouts.
Going into the fourth quarter, well beyond double digits. And I go, what? You got to be kidding me. No, I want to. Well, you're going to be entertained this year because I can tell you next week against the Packers, I think it's going down to the wire again. Well, we ain't crushing nobody. It's going to be who's going to win in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Hopefully it's the Saints.
2-0, the black and gold after a 20-17 victory on Monday Night Football over the Carolina Panthers. Want to hear from you who that's on the Open Heart Jewelers Talking text line, 504-260-1870. Be back with more right after this on the Community Coffee Saints Radio Network.